Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you, mate? You alright?
End of the year.
I don't know where the time's gone, really.
I don't think
crazy.
I don't think next year could be worse. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get worse than 2020. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's been a pretty shit year. I mean, the single highlight of the year for me is probably Cyberpunk.
And that's bad.
Oh, we'll get onto that. That was sarcasm, in case you couldn't tell, but we'll get onto that. We've got a few things planned. This episode. We got the SNT awards, mate. You know, better than the Oscars, better than the BAFTAs.
This is all popular opinion.
So we've got the SNT awards coming up. I thought as well we could just go through a little summary of how we found podcasting in 2020, how we adapted, and what our plans are going forward. I just thought we could catch up, mate.
I mean, I'm bidding this as soon as the new year starts, mate. Because
tell me about it. I mean, it's a bit boring, isn't it? Really.
No, so I mean, podcasting in 2020. Firstly, we were together trying it out with shitty mics. We then transitioned to decent mics. So
as we've started to pick up the views, well, I say pick up the views, I mean we've now got like 5 instead of 4. But as we've started to pick up the views, I've noticed a lot of people are still listening to the first episode. When new people come across the podcast, they're obviously clicking on episode 1, which is, is a fairly standard thing to do. But I really wish they wouldn't.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could reverse
because the quality is so bad.
Should we just remove them? I don't know. Maybe we should.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should, mate.
Yeah, maybe just start on like episode 3 or something. 4. Oh well.
Well, yeah, because I found as soon as we got the new mics, it made such a difference.
You mean it was like you could hear it?
Exactly. You could actually understand. You could actually understand what was being said. It's kind of a.
It wasn't like someone's back pocket phone who they've accidentally rung their mate. Two blokes sat around your kitchen table.
And now I haven't even got a table. How times have changed. So Tom, how have you found it, mate? What's your experience been like podcasting this year?
It's been pretty good, actually. The more I think about it, I don't think there's a more popular year to record the events of the world rather than 2020. I mean, this is a time capsule. You know, when you go through to the British History Museum in 20 years, our recordings will be on there from the SNT podcast as a record of 2020. Yeah, no, I mean, for me, it's been pretty good, to be honest. It's a new venture to be continued, obviously, into the new year as well. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. It's been quite a big year, though, isn't it, as well? I mean, not just for the coronavirus. I'm going to do my very best not to mention coronavirus once more in this episode.
What'd you say?
But it has been quite a big year for games. I mean, films not so much, because obviously cinemas have been closed. But big year for games. Obviously, you got the new Xbox, new PlayStation, Cyberpunk was finally released, the new Assassin's Creed was released, new Zelda game. It's been quite a big year for games.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good has come out of it. It's sort of, I want to say it's like highlighted some of the more niche like hobbies. It makes sense. Like people who went into gaming before, when there's nothing to do, they started buying games consoles.
For sure. Yeah,
when there's 100%. Nothing to do, they go through their lofts and they look at their Pokemon. You know, it's that
I was just about to say, you had the Pokemon boom as well. That's kind of stabilising now. That's prices are coming down a little bit now. And I know we go quite heavily into Pokemon because we're a pair of nerds.
I love it.
But
I love it.
Mate, I love it as well. I love it. But I think part of the reason that prices are going down now is there's such an influx, particularly of modern cards. So you've had quite a few sets that got released during the bubble, like Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, and quite a few Japanese sets as well. And there's now a massive influx of there's like thousands of VMAX Charizards that have gone off the PSA. That's starting to come back now, and because there's so many, the price has gone. Well, it's almost plummeted. It's still relatively high for what it is, but a VMAX Charizard, you were paying 150, 200 quid for that, a few months ago, and now it's like 75, 80 quid.
Is there a record somewhere of the set that was printed the least? Like, if you was to look back, what is the rarest set?
I know the Wizards of the Coast, the E-Series stuff, has got quite a limited print run.
Yeah.
Stuff like Skyridge, hence that's why it's so sought after. Not only is it like one of the last Wizards of the Coast set, but it's not a massive print run.
Yeah, see, I think that this is why I really get put off of modern cards, because even though it doesn't really matter that much, the fact that the stuff that we grew up with is more scarce, harder to get, because obviously time's gone on. There's something about that when you get a card in mint condition that's from the past.
Yeah, it's like a true collector's item.
Yeah, I mean, it's something from 2018. I wouldn't really consider to be like, oh my god, you know, even if it is out of print, I'd be like, do you know what? As time's gone on and popularity's like increased, the sets are more readily available. Whereas you try and find something like we've been trying to do, Sam, like hunt for these things in the dark corners of eBay, you know, and Facebook and Instagram. They're hard to get, and they're harder to get in good condition. So when you get something like that from the past, I think there's something about that. I get a kick out of that, in a way.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's been a weird year, mate. It's been a weird year. I found as well, like, time goes so quick when you're sitting around doing nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I don't actually. Yeah. Sounds so cliche, and everyone says it, but I don't know where the year has gone. I really don't know what's happened to the time.
Well,
like, even the last 2-3 days, you know, all we've been doing really is playing Soul Calibur and playing World War Z on the PS4, PS5, and it's.
I'd like to think that people have been given more perspective on what to do in their lives a little bit. I don't know about you, but if you might have had the same conversation with yourself that I've had, which is when time is like flying past, not because of like, and it's because you're doing nothing really. Like if you're like 90% of the country who work from home and all that sort of stuff, it's quite you have a lot of time to think. And you think about stuff you can do to improve your like, position and stuff you should have done, and maybe I'll get that done finally. It's changed people's perspective, I think, a little bit as to what's important and what's not.
This is it. I think it's given people a lot of time to reflect.
Yeah.
On what's important in their lives, and I think you've had a lot of new. I'm trying to word it. There's been a lot of opportunities when you're sitting around doing nothing. That's when the ideas start flowing and the juices start flowing, and I think a lot of people have managed to find some good out of this, and you know, start a business or you know, start a course and work on themselves, and that's what it's all about, really. So goals this year, Pokemon goals this year, Tom. We've both completed a few. Do you want to share any?
I've got a few Weedles for the post. I haven't spent that much.
Yeah.
I haven't spent that much.
Definitely not.
I meant to be saving for a mortgage deposit, so I wouldn't spend all this money on Pokemon, would I? No, I did.
You know, you're a responsible adult. You're trying to get on the ladder. You know, what do you do? Pokemon cards or save towards a mortgage? Pokemon cards, obviously.
Do you know,
obviously.
I keep thinking back. So, we sent off our first ever PSA submission in July, and end of July. Fair enough. And we was expecting them back by now, and since then, I know your collection and my collection has gone like through the roof in terms of what we've got now, and I can tell you that because I keep going back to it. I sent off a Fossil Unlimited Muck. I'd never do that because I don't give a shit about Muck, but that just sort of shows you what I had back then to send to PSA. So yeah, who knows when we'll get them back, but. For the most part, our collections have gone through the roof since then. We've really got into it.
Yeah, and that was one of my goals for this year, was to send off my first submission to PSA. And done that 6 months ago. Still haven't got it back, but you know.
I will remind you, you've only got 2 days to watch The Irishman, by the way.
Oh, this is... We'll get to that. It's on the list.
But
it's on the list. I got as far as putting it onto my official list on Netflix last night. So
there's The Irishman again on Netflix. Yeah, I know, it looks good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Might be able to break history, you know.
No.
Before the 31st.
So you're doing your collection-wise. You've done quite well because obviously we chat a bit, and since sending off, since we got into it properly since July, I suppose, you've completed your fossil collection. You've completed your jungle collection as well.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting for a card to arrive, but yeah.
You've bought a few sealed packs and then sold a few sealed packs.
Yeah.
You've started base, you've started rocket, and you've almost done your Southern Islands.
Well, I've got 4 out of 18 Southern Islands. But yeah. I mean, well, Southern Islands, I'm only going for PSA graded, preferably 9, but 8 minimum, and I've got Butterfree, Exeggutor,
Mew.
Slowking,
You got Mew.
and then the Mew's Raw. That's the only thing.
That's all right.
But I really fucked up with that, because I could have got some of these cards like the Pidgeot, Onyx, Wartortle. They're all non-holos, and there's only 18 cards in the set. So you go back to May, June, these, PSA 8, PSA 9, 7 non-holos were pretty cheap. They were like 20 quid, $30 a card. And now, you can't get one of the non-holos in PSA 9 for less than 100 quid, so like $120. So like a Pidgeot non-holo, PSA 9, the cheapest I found yesterday was like 130 quid.
Jeez.
And that same card was 20 quid a few months ago.
I mean, this is the insane thing. So, the hobby we've loved for a long time has now sort of got to this point where it is unaffordable, I think, to most people.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
People having to find inventive ways to fund their collection habit. So, like you've made a step forward in becoming a bit of an eBay reseller, haven't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I've always used eBay, but I definitely saw an opportunity to kind of step that up a little bit, kind of tone it up a gear with that. So yeah, I've been quite active on eBay, and it's quite a good way to make some extra money on the side, and eventually even full time. But it's just the issue is having the stock.
Yeah.
And as we're both seeing, the stock is drying up. I mean, it's really, really hard to get a decent condition like WotC Holo. It's not easy.
So I was watching a video last night on like rarity versus popularity, and the guy on it made a good point to say, like, no matter what the market looks like with these cards, there will always be like the price for rare cards won't diminish, whereas popularity, so for example Vivid Voltage or I'm going to get this wrong, Darkness Ablaze.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Like
right.
Charizards and stuff, where they start off relatively expensive because there's so much demand for them and there's so many Charizards out there, the price won't stick. Whereas for rare cards, like your Gold Stars, like your WotC first editions, they will stick at a price point and they won't go down as much. I thought it was a good interesting
So that's
point.
actually 100%, and that's actually, it's very, very true. So I'll give you an example. So you mentioned Darkness Ablaze. There's a card in that. It's a VMAX Charizard.
Yeah.
When Darkness Ablaze first came out, this card was really expensive. It was like, nearly £200. It was really rare.
Yeah.
It was like only one in so many, like 1 in 100 packs or something like that. Really, really hard to get hold of. They were selling like wildfire on eBay. Everyone wanted one. And people are now starting to get their PSA submissions back, and there has been an influx of these VMAX Charizards. The price is like, I'd say it's lost about 30%, 35%.
Yeah.
There's such a large quantity of these holos. I think we're going to see a massive influx as well, because we've still got loads of PSA cards to come back.
Yeah.
So the influx of these, in brackets, rare modern cards, is going to drive the price right down. Because like you said, it's the WotC cards, the WotC holos that are the true rare ones. I mean, there are some exceptions. Like, I know the Charizard from Champions Path is still quite sought after, but even with that, there's going to be an influx of them coming back. And once, PSA start to work through their backlog, I think we might see a bit of a change in the prices.
Yeah.
Definitely in all the modern sets.
I think in base set, massively. I think...
Yeah,
'cause I was looking into the print runs. Like I was telling you the other day, I was looking into like the print runs because I wanted to see how scarce or not scarce these cards are. And base set was printed from something like 1990. I want to say 1998, 1999 something, to 2003, and it was printed for that long. Whereas like you look at like the end of Neo and the beginning of E series, even to the point, even like Fossil and Team Rocket, they're printed like nowhere near as much as base set. So like all these I mean, don't get me wrong, Charizard, the original Charizard is always going to be the original Charizard, but there's a lot of them out there, so there's never going to be like a need to like, I've got to buy it now, maybe this is like going to be hard to find, or because I think for base set it's always going to be around.
Yeah, so I mean that's a really good point. I mean, when the Pokemon boom kind of happened, like July, August, the base set Charizards did go, started to go through the roof a little bit.
Yeah.
PSA 9 base set Charizard that was going at one point for like nearly $8,000,
Yeah.
and now they've kind of come back down and they're floating around 6.5.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not even within a year that's happened. So I think it's kind of stabilising now. But you're definitely right. There is going to be an influx, and all these people that never had Pokemon cards before that have invested and bought mint cards to grade, that is going to result, like you've said, in a bit of an influx coming into PSA. Definitely.
Yeah. I'm quite happy where we've got to. Like, I feel like if we looked back on even the last 6 months as to where we were to where we are now, I think that we can say we've done quite a good job, actually, to be honest.
What, in terms of collecting?
Yeah, collecting and like goals and stuff, because like we've only been doing this in anger for, like I said, for about half a year, and like and we've always said it's more of like a marathon, this sort of hobby.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a whole collection overnight. You got to like pick and choose what you like, the battles the cards you go in for, and so I think if you look back in 6 months, we've done quite a good job actually, getting some of these cards which are now hard to find.
Yeah.
What goals did you achieve then? Did you have any personal goals you wanted to get through?
So for me, it was I wanted to finish Jungle and Fossil.
Yeah.
And I did want to try and finish Rocket, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's tough. I mean, like I said, the big one for me was I wanted to send off my first submission, and I done that.
Yeah. And receive it back, or?
Yeah. Well, that would be great if we could.
God, New Year's Eve gift. It would be easier to get. I mean, you talk about the demand for this stuff. Like, if PSA return times were quicker, I think it would be a lot easier to sort of make a little bit of a business out of it. But we're having to buy a lot of stuff raw, because like obviously PSA submissions aren't coming back thick and fast. They're staggered. So like, if you was to like create a business on like PSA returns, you'd be fucking struggling to do that, because like unless you did like bulk submissions every 6 months.
That's the thing. Unless you submitted like 500 cards.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, when we sent this off, I really thought that we would get these back within 2 months max. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. So for the next year, then, what do you want to achieve?
I would like to. I mean, I'd like to grow my eBay store quite a bit. I'd like to grow that a bit more. But I would also. I'd like to get Rocket finished, Base finished, and then maybe make a start on Neo Genesis. But like you've said, I think I'm getting priced out of a lot of this. I mean, I don't really want to pay, hundreds of pounds for a single raw card. And I think there's a lot of cards, particularly in the Neo series.
Fucking hell.
Because you've got all the shine-ins, then you've got all the big hitters like Typhlosion and Lugia and Umbreon and Espeon. It's just, yeah. I mean, you spent a lot. Compared to me, I think you spent a lot of cards.
No, I haven't.
What you've got to show, but what you've got to show for that is, you've got some truly mint, sets. Like, you've got some full sets that are almost mint. Whereas where I've sacrificed a little bit on the cost, some of the cards aren't as mint as I would like.
I mean, mine weren't mint. They're a bit sticky now. I've got so much jizzle over them. No.
How about you then? What's some of your goals?
So,
Pokemon goals, obviously.
I want to, forget life goals. No, I've never been a fan of Jungle and Fossil sets, right? I've had this like connection with Gym Heroes Gym Challenge and the Neo series more so than the first 4 series. Like base set, obviously I have a connection with that one, but I've always been a fan of like the Gym series, and I would like to say that I'm not too far off of finishing those off, but to have a full set of Neo from Genesis to Destiny, like all 4 sets complete, that's and do you know what? I'm not just saying it. So for Genesis, Discovery, and Revelations, I need 6 cards in total across all 3 sets. But Destiny is like a different kettle of fish
Mental.
because like it's rarer, and they went to town on Shining cards, and even though there's like 2 in Revelations, the Gyarados and Magikarp.
I really want that fucking Magikarp.
Yeah, honestly, like, but trying to get. I mean, I'm not buying PSA cards; I'm buying raw cards. So trying to look for like your Shining Tyranitar, Shining Raichu, your Shining Charizard, it's just like it makes me really consider whether I should just do Destiny or not at all. But I'm halfway there already with the commons and uncommons. So,
all right. So if you had to pick 3 cards for the next year, now 3 cards that you wanna, we can look back on this in a year's time and say, did you manage to source those cards? What would those 3 cards be?
So it would be Shining Charizard.
Shining Charizard. That's a really nice card. That's so fucking expensive as well.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. It would probably be Blaine's Charizard.
Nice.
And a third card that I'd like to get. Joe, there's a card in Magma versus Aqua, and it's a secret rare, and it's an Absol. And there's 2 cards in Magma vs Aqua. There are 2 secret rares. There's Jirachi and Absol, and I think the Absol looks really, really nice. And so yeah, maybe after all the WotC is said and done, maybe Sandstorm and Magma vs Aqua are the 2 sets that I might finish off because I've got them from when I was a child. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
There's an Absol in that which looks pretty good.
Nice. I think.
Actually.
Yeah, I mean, the ones.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Scratch that. Lucky Stadium. Sorry.
I finished off your promos. Yeah.
Yeah, 2. I need fucking 2.
What do you need again? You need Birthday Pikachu and Lucky Stadium.
No, I've got birthday now. I need.
Did you get that quiet?
Yeah,
When did you get that?
The other day. still waiting for it to arrive though. I need Pokemon Center and Lucky Stadium, and they're like
Lucky Stadium.
Yeah, it's like looking for gold, in the dirt in the winter. It's not going to happen, is it? You're not going to find anything. Fuck that.
You'll get them one day, mate. You'll get them one day.
On my deathbed.
Yeah. I mean, my gold cards are a lot cheaper than that.
Go with yours then. Go for yours.
Well, I think there's a lot, but if I was to just pick a few, so if I pick 3 or 4 for next year, so the first one is it's not even that expensive. I mean, it is, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not. Is a Venusaur, base set Venusaur, but in good condition. Because I've never had a Venusaur. I've always had Blastoise and Charizard. So base set Venusaur.
Okay, it's doable.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. Shining Magikarp.
Yeah, that's a hard card, man.
That's one. Yeah, starts to get a little bit silly. Not insane, but it's very expensive. And then the third one I really want is the Neo Genesis Lugia. But there's so many. So I've said after finishing Jungle and Base, I want to start Rocket, and I need the Dark Charizard, Dark Blastoise Hollows.
Dark Charizard's an expensive card.
They're not cheap. Yeah, they're not cheap. But if I had to narrow it down to 3 or 4, I'd say Dark Charizard Hollow, base set Venusaur, Shining Magikarp, and then the Neo Genesis Lugia.
Fucking hell.
But we shall see. We'll come back in a year's time, and we'll see if I actually managed to get those cards.
It's something to strive for, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a goal. It's a goal.
That's the brutal side of this. Is that kids will never get these cards. Let's be realistic, because obviously, like, they don't have an income, and so this is only for the adults. I can't. Well, I don't know what I'm trying to get at. I'm saying it's going to be hard.
No, it's true. It's like I know what you're saying. It's a lot of kids that might see these cards and they think, oh, they're really, really cool, like that old school, really cool. But they might not obviously be able to afford them. I mean, we can't afford them. To be honest, there's loads we can't afford. It's only the serious collectors that can really afford some of this stuff, and it's a bit disheartening, But that comes with anything in life. When you think about it, like classic cars, some cars are like fucking millions of pounds. There's even vintage like first print books. Like the first run of Harry Potter books goes for like tens of thousands. Like
The Bible.
you get this in anything. But anything that's collectible, you get this, and that's the thing with Pokemon now getting into the mainstream is, some people get priced out, and there are some cards that we're never going to own. It just is what it is.
So I was trying to bid on a Neo Destiny Execute. So the eggs, right? First edition Neo Destiny common. All right.
I was going to say, why do you want that?
I guess how much you went
Just
for
the set. First edition mint Execute. Well, first edition I wouldn't think any more than the tenner.
Yeah, it went £59.
59 quid.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Mitch, I know you're listening. That's like 120 Australian dollars.
Yeah, first edition Neo Destiny. So Execute and a seal went for 56, I think, or 59. I was
for a seal.
Yeah, I started watching it and thought, oh, maybe £3-4 there. I'm like, yeah, get one of them. Yeah, 59 quid they went for. So someone is really eager for Neo Destiny first editions.
You've got a competitor.
Well, this is it. Like the prices that I put down, I think are extreme sometimes. I think, I shouldn't put down this much money for a shitty card, just because I want to win it, But I do, and I don't win, ever. like I used to win a lot. I don't win at all now. Like I have to be like a dark horse. I have to be one of these slime people, like 2 seconds left, bang, like one of these people.
Well, I think that could have gone for even more. That's the crazy thing of that. Fucking seal, 56 quid. Execute. Was that 51 quid for the Execute?
It's mental. It's so expensive. Like this hobby. I got a non-hollow Dark Charizard non-hollow for 50 quid. The Execute first edition went for more than that. Like, it's not the same game anymore.
I hope it was absolutely spotless.
Well, for his sake. Like, Jesus, man.
Here's to next year.
Yeah.
So talking of next year, this has been an interesting year for games and films, isn't it?
Oh, it's been.
Let's talk a little bit about this year as well.
It's been flourishing with new content.
It's been a weird one. It's been a weird one for sure. A lot of films have released, mostly straight to Netflix.
Yeah, just
says it all. So Tom and I have come up with some awards, some custom awards for 2020 for films and games, and we wanted to share them with you. So Tom, how many awards have you got, mate?
I've got 4 serious ones and 2 jokey ones, but when I say jokey ones, I do really mean it. But I'm just trying to do a little stab at them. So
okay, that kind of works. I mean, I've got 6 awards as well. Actually, I think I've got 4 film awards and 2 games awards.
Shall I go through mine? You go through yours after.
Go for it. Well, I tell you what. If we do the films first.
All right. So, for me, 2020 has been a shit show. We all know that. So, I've done the award for best picture, in my opinion.
The award for best picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ironically, they're all 2019 films because they're shit. So, The Irishman, which quality Netflix film, came out on December 12th, so we can say went out beginning of January. 1917, great World War One film, came out in February time.
1917 was brilliant. I absolutely loved that.
And the dark horse of all of this, which I watched 2 days ago, is called The King on Netflix. And my God, that takes the award for me. The King on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, right? I'll tell you now, one of the best films you will see. It is quality. Absolutely.
But without
quality.
spoiling it then, what's it about? Give us a gist.
It's about kings. No,
about kings. Alright, next.
No, I won't spoil it because it is like for me to explain it would sound crap. But basically it's broken England, new king on the throne, war with France. It's good. It's good.
What's it called again?
The King.
That's on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah.
And that wins your best picture. No, your dark horse.
That is, it is the Best Picture award. Runners up, Irishman 1917, but The King takes it for me.
Wow, quite a bold statement.
It is
for a Netflix movie.
I've got the worst film.
Yeah, go for it. Go on.
So
let's hear all your film awards.
So the worst film of 2020 didn't come out in 2020. It came out next year. It's Black Widow. So I've written it down because I know it's going to be shit. It's a 2021 film. It wins the 2020 award for worst picture, in my opinion. And then the reviews for Wonder Woman 1984 are coming out, and they look really bad as well. So 2 films there, 2 female leads, nothing against them. But yeah, they get the worst film.
Yeah, it's tricky with that. I mean, I don't particularly care for the DC films. I mean, let's be honest, they've not been amazing. They ain't been bad. I mean, Man of Steel was probably the best one, I think. But
yeah,
I didn't really like Wonder Woman a lot, and I'm not going to rush to see Wonder Woman 84. And Black Widow, I mean, Marvel has smashed it, with the whole Marvel Universe films. They've absolutely killed it. But I'm just hoping this isn't something they're going to milk for years and years to come. I really hope it's not.
Joey.
And Black Widow's a character that I'm not really interested in. She's always been a part of the background.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they teamed up Falcon with the Winter Soldier, because he's not strong enough to hold his own movie. There's a reason that Black Widow took, I don't know, 20 years, whatever the fuck they say, for a film to come out about her, because she's not a strong enough character. Nothing to do with female characters. There are some really cool female characters. Scarlet Witch, all that.
Scarlet Witch is really cool, yeah, and she's was she Magneto's daughter, Magneto's daughter, I think.
Something like that. I mean,
Wanda.
But she's really cool, and she needs none of this I just feel like it's a little bit forced, but it just looks like one of those generic Russian accent films. They've hooked in the bloke from Stranger Things in there because he's slightly popular in that. I just thought this is just going to be one of those generic combat films. Well,
this is it. I mean, I never really liked Black Widow because she's just an assassin, and to be honest, I never really liked Hawkeye because he's just a Robin Hood with a different cape. They're quite minor characters. I feel they're not really superheroes.
They're not even heroes.
I don't know. I mean, some people absolutely love Black Widow and Hawkeye, but I mean, not for me. And
message in. I'd like to speak to you.
Things. Yeah, get in touch. Fair enough, mate. All right, so that's your films, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So my first film award is the film that made me want to immediately go on a diet, and that is Unhinged. Great film, but after seeing the state that Russell Crowe has got himself into, made me stare in the mirror, take a good old look at myself, grab the tyre ring around my waist, and realise that I need to go on a diet. So,
Jesus.
Thanks for that, Russell Crowe.
From Gladiator to that, he's lost it a little bit.
This is it. Fall from grace. No, the film was actually really good, to be fair. It's literally it's an hour and a half long road rage. Basically, some woman cuts him up, and he wants to kill her for it, and it's literally that is the film. But it's good. It's it's funny. It's easy to watch.
That's driving in England every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking.
I actually got into a bit of road rage with a cyclist.
Yeah, literally, come to England for a day, you get pissed off pretty easily with the driving standards around here.
Yeah, pretty poor.
Him and Brendan Fraser should start Weight Watchers again.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that series. Russell Crowe and Brendan Fraser. No, Gladiator and the Mummy.
They could have the Mummy off because they've both done one.
Jesus. That's my first award. Second award is the film that made me think twice every time a light bulb flashes, and that is Parasite. Yeah, I absolutely adored this film. Yeah, no, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Every single part of the film I thought was amazing. Story I thought was brilliant. I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought it had horror, it had romance, it had comedy, it had everything. It just Don't get me wrong. It's not the best film I've ever seen, but I thought it was really, really good, and definitely, one of the standout films for the year for me. Also, one of the rare cases where it lives up to the hype, if you know what I mean. Because so many films and games, particularly, get really, really hyped up, and they just don't deliver. But this absolutely smashed it for me.
It was definitely different. I've never seen a film like that.
This is. I think that's one of the reasons that I love it the most, is that it's just so different. If you try to explain to someone what it's about, it's not just one thing going on. There's so many things, and I love the way it switches like halfway through the film, and you're just like, "What the fuck is going on?" But at the same time, it's keeping you entertained. Like, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. My second award. The third award is, even though we're in 2020, we still have really shit CGI award, and that was for Sonic the movie. Because you look at some CGI films from the early 2000s, like Lord of the Rings, even Transformers.
Brilliant.
And and the CGI. I mean, Transformers, they're not exactly good films, but they look amazing. CGI is incredible, and Lord of the Rings CGI is some of the best I've seen. And Lord of the Rings films are like nearly 20 years old. Sonic, like, it was just so shit. Like, honestly, every single part of that film. Why Jim Carrey put his name to that, I have no idea. I mean,
Jesus.
I don't think he cares what I think, but
Well, he's lost it, hasn't he?
yeah, he's lost it, and it was just terrible. It was just really bad. I knew it was going to be, so I don't even know why I watched it. But moving on. My final film award is the best film that I've never watched, and that is The Irishman. So I've said to myself, I said to Tom, I've got until the end of 2020 to watch it. If I start now, I should finish it in time
for next year.
No, I'm gonna definitely try and watch that before. No, I am going to watch that before 2020 is over. It's got some of my favourite actors, some of the best actors in the world. People might say Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. I still haven't watched it. I don't know why. Because Casino.
I don't know why.
Goodfellas. I love all these films. I love these films, and they're all in it.
You used to go at me all the time about watching gangster films and all this stuff, and watch.
Because that's the thing. They're so good. I honestly just think it's the time. I just think it's the time. It's put me off, and I've become really lazy in my older age.
Look, if you haven't got 8.5 hours to spare,
lazy.
I don't know who you are. All right.
Not lazy. I say I've become lazy. I have not become lazy. I've just become more careful about where I put my time. Because the older you get, you realise that time's limited. But
I mean, more time on The
3.5 hour film.
Irishman is less time on eBay searching for Pokemon. So
this is true. But I'm definitely going to watch that before 2020's up. 100%. Okay, Game Awards, mate. Let's hear your Game Awards.
Ooh, okay. So I've got two Best Game of the Awards. Best Game of the Awards? Best Game of the Year awards.
Best Game of the Awards.
And I'm pretty sure one of them's going to be on yours as well. The first one is The Last of Us 2. No surprise there, really. Like, it felt like I was watching a movie. I must have played that game and completed it like 3 or 4 times now. Like, honestly, like, it doesn't get boring to me. The reactions, like, to people, and I just think, to be honest, it just felt really realistic. So, for me, it gets one of the Game of the Year for me. The second one, which was my first ever entry into the series, heard a lot about it growing up. It was extremely famous, probably the most famous game on the PlayStation 1, and that's Final Fantasy VII. And to be honest with you, I've never been so absorbed into a story like this, and it's just the beginning. There's going to be 2 other parts to it, one in 2022, one in 2024. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII, best game of the year for me.
Nice, mate. Nice. Okay.
For worst game of the year,
let's hear your bad ones. Yeah.
So I've got the award for Quit While You're Ahead. Is the Assassin's Creed series, Valhalla in particular.
Quit While You're Ahead.
Because it's not Assassin's Creed anymore. It's not even Vikings. It's got Valhalla in the title. I don't know what they're playing at. I've put like 138 hours into this game, and it still boggles my mind that this game even got through. To be honest, like the amount of game-breaking bugs in this game, and it's just boring. Ubisoft, sort it out. I mean, fucking hell. But it is just terrible. Like, there's only so many chests that I can loot before I start losing my marbles, so yeah, don't even call it Assassin's Creed, just change it to something else. Do what you did with Ghost of Tsushima and just remake an IP, and it was much better. So yeah, so quick while you're ahead, they get the award for that. And my second award and last award for worst game is the clearly has the virus award, and that's Cyberpunk, because for them to release a game like that, for it to be removed from the Microsoft store, the PlayStation store, for Sony to then openly offer refunds to anyone who ever purchased the game, and then for them to forget that even exists, it fucking boggles my mind. So Cyberpunk 2077, the most overrated, overhyped bullshit game of the year, and for every year since 2013, Cyberpunk clearly has the virus award.
I like it. Fair enough. I couldn't agree more, mate, really. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
With all of them. With all of them.
Yeah.
So my first award, mate, is the game that is shorter than a feature-length movie. And that is for Spider-Man Miles Morales. Do you know what? That game is brilliant. Plays phenomenally. Let me try that again. Plays phenomenally. Looks incredible. Like, it really did showcase, like, graphics-wise, what the PS5 can do. Like, it looks insane. And like I said to you before, I could happily just swing through New York as Spider-Man, for hours on end. Like, it's so good. But it's just so fucking short. Like, it took me 5 hours, and when you're paying full price for a brand new game, like over 50 quid, you want longer than 4 or 5 hours worth of gameplay. And it's, I really explored a lot as well, and just 5 hours is not enough. Like, they should at least reflect that in the price, or at least offer some DLC or something.
So if you paid for the gold edition of that game, 70 quid, you're essentially paying £17.50 an hour. So well done for that 4 hours gameplay there. £17.50 an hour. Yeah, there's a contractor's rate.
It's look at. That's the thing. I don't want to slug it because it's a really good game. It is a really good game. It's just not long enough. But what can you do? That's my first award. My second award is the game that made me instantly regret not waiting half a year to buy it, which is Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
All the reviews I saw day before it came out basically said they all said the same thing, which was, it looks like it's got a lot of potential, but don't buy it. Wait until they've done all the patches.
Has to keep it.
And buy it. Yeah, buy it when it's a complete game. Buy it when it's actually finished. But I didn't. I'm like a child, very impatient. Don't like waiting around. Ran out to buy it on the day of release. And I literally had a bug on the character creation screen. I had another bug where I got trapped inside a building. I had another bug I got stuck in a doorway. I got trapped in a mission that looped continuously. I had another bug where I couldn't actually get out of a car as well. The car door wouldn't open. So it's like there's so many bugs, and I'm playing on a PS5. It's 10 times worse than a PS4.
Fucking hell.
I know they have released, I think it was patch 1.6, I've probably got that wrong, but they released a patch that came out, I think, last week, the end of last week. And apparently that has fixed a lot of stuff, but I think they've done a lot of kind of irreversible damage.
I mean, reputation is hard to get back. When you've got... Yeah. I mean, Bethesda is still suffering from Fallout 76 and that complete railroad of that, games are hard to bring back when you've got a company that just funnels out crap all the time. CD Projekt Red came from The Witcher 3, absolutely amazing game, right, to this, where they just blatantly lied to people to say it was ready, and like you said on the reviews, they only showed their part of like what they wanted to show. Basically, they didn't let other people explore the game. They didn't tell people that it wasn't ready. They just basically stole from you. They stole your money just to get sales and pre-orders. That's what happened.
Well, yeah, this is it. I mean, the thing is as well, they must have been. I'm not defending them at all, but they must have been under an immense amount of pressure. It's one of the most anticipated games. I mean, you could argue ever. One of the biggest anticipated games of the year, without a doubt, possibly of all time, in terms of what they promised. So they must have been getting so much pressure from the board. But what you need to do is you need to manage expectations. You say, sorry, we've delayed it twice this year already. We're going to have to delay it again because it's just not ready, and we'd rather give you a full product. That would have been better than delivering a game that isn't finished, that isn't finished. It's like selling someone a car that doesn't work, and then not expecting them to come back and complain. Like, of course they're going to, because the fucking car doesn't work. You give me a game where I'm playing on a state-of-the-art console, and I can't even get past the character creation screen. Like, it's not good enough.
And this is the thing.
And they knew that these issues were there. I mean, they've handled it well. I'll give them credit. They're doing these refunds, and it's been pulled from the stores, and they've done some pretty quick patches. But it's not good enough. It shouldn't have been released like this in the first place. Damage has been done. I think it's going to be hard for them to get back from this.
It's already got the sort of reputation of being shit and being buggy, and every single reviewer on YouTube. Do you know what makes me laugh? Okay, this is a genuine problem. The reviewers of this game are not independent, but companies like IGN, for example, who gave this game a 10 out of 10 when it first came out. It just shows you how bullshit and corrupt these things are. When a game company is scared to review a game badly, okay, that's when you know something's up. They were afraid to report it back as bad, so they gave it a 10 out of 10, this game, IGN. And then you see all the videos that follow. It's just a constant backtracking, it's 10 out of 10, but there is a few things. Honestly, for me, this just shows you the state where if it's a problem to report that a game is bad and you're getting banned on YouTube or Twitch or whatever the fuck it is,
that was happening.
There's a problem, right? It's the same thing with Star Wars. When they started saying that Star Wars was bad, right, people started banning people on YouTube, and Disney got involved, and they do not allow you to say your own opinion, right? This is why it's so critical that when something is bad like this, that you speak up. Like, I'm not one of these people that goes onto YouTube and comments and stuff, but I've definitely made a habit of it when something is wrong to explain it. I said to you the other day about Assassin's Creed, this game-breaking bug. I never in my life have complained about anything, really. I just get on with it, right? But I went to the Ubisoft online board, writ a complaint, and it's got 56 comments, my thing now, saying, when will they ever sort this game out? And it's like, yeah, fucking...
Is it?
56 people have said they got the same bug. Now, those 56 people may not have even complained like me, but I'm definitely making a habit of it now. Like, if there's anything that will strive me to go online, it will just be to make sure that people and companies don't force feed you like their narrative of what they believe is happening. Not everything is good.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. Completely
Sorry
agree.
about that, Ran.
Completely agree, to be honest. No, it's true. Like, you have to, yeah. I mean, that's why I tend to go by what the community's saying as opposed to like the official reviews.
Yeah. I feel sorry for these content creators because they use Twitch, they use YouTube as their platform to send messages out there, right? Good or bad, honest opinions and stuff like that. But when these companies are banning you from thinking in a certain way, saying certain things, which are completely normal to say, right? Something is wrong. So you just need to continue to be honest, fight through the fire, fight through the threat of being banned or getting your videos cancelled, because the honest statement there is what everyone else is feeling. So keep doing what you're doing. That's what I'd say. Yeah,
no, I completely agree, mate. My last award is the game that took me on an emotional roller coaster, and that is Last of Us 2. You've already said it. It was just every single part about this game was fantastic, and I don't recall ever playing a game where the combat system is as good as that was. Do you know how satisfying it was getting in a shootout? And they were hard as well. They weren't easy. Like, I had to restart a lot of parts, and I just thought everything was brilliant. The story, the combat, it was one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. And I've never played a game that's made me feel so conflicted as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got me into it. You got me into the first and second one.
Yeah. I mean, how rare is it that a game is better than a sequel is better than the first?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't happen all the time. There's only a few exceptions I can think of. Resident Evil 2, Terminator 2, but it's not a very long list. It's not a very long list. Can I say, when I say Resident Evil 2, I mean the game, not the film.
Yeah, Nemesis.
Because the film's shit, but yeah. No, it's just an incredible game. And it made me feel so... I was in like a battle with myself. Like, because at the beginning of the game, you really fucking hate Abby. And then you start playing as her. I really didn't want to play as her. And you grow to really care about her as a character. And I just wanted them to stop fighting. I was like, just stop. But the story couldn't progress if that happened. So I was quite distressed playing some parts of this game. It sounds silly, but I just loved it. I just think it's it's a masterpiece, and it just showed me how much better games are at storytelling than films.
Yeah,
I love films. I absolutely love films, but I think games can do things that films can't quite. They can't quite achieve.
I tend to think that the same thing applies to like series on TV as well. Like
yeah.
If you think like a film has to fit in 2.5 hours, right, and it's quite quick cut, and it's like not in all cases. I mean, it depends what film it is, but I mean, a 10-part series gets into those like nitty gritty details which people like to know about. And the same,
you really start to connect with the characters, don't you?
Yeah, and it's the same with a game. Like, you can have those moments of like, okay, like feeling a bit down and feel really good, and you're getting into like some. It chops and changes all the time, and you've got that time to like adjust. Like, and I'm like you. Like The Last of Us 2, it shocked me how good I thought it was. To be honest, like even like parts where she was playing the guitar, I just thought this is really good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've gone into like the nth degree here. It got to me at the end when she was trying to play it, for the final time, and she obviously got no fingers left. And it just left me empty. I was like, fucking hell.
But this is it. At the end of the game, literally, I didn't know how to feel. I was just thinking, is this it, man? Like, what next?
Yeah, I was just like, better get the sharpener out. Like, Jesus, like it just felt like that, didn't it?
But it was amazing, and that probably takes my overall game of the year as well.
Yeah. So those are the awards, the SNT awards.
Better than the Oscars.
More diverse.
Some of our listeners, we put the feelers out there, and we wanted to know what some of their games of the year were. So Professor Galar says his favourite game was The Witcher 3.
Yeah. After the series came out,
I've not played
popular
that.
again.
You have, haven't you?
Yeah, it's quality, man. 100%. Like, I mean, after the series came out on Netflix, the game like sales like shot through the roof.
Mm.
And this is like a game which has had its 3rd, 4th, and 5th wind because it's really, really good. And if any company needs a standard of what an RPG should be like, it's that game. The Witcher 3.
How long is it?
It can be as long as you want. It's open world.
That's what she said.
No, honestly, like it's a really, really good game. In fact, it's one of the most underrated games I've ever played. It's such a good RPG.
Is it a silly question, but compare everything to it. Is it similar to Skyrim?
No, very different. In a good way.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list. Definitely on the list. So that was Professor Galar. Jojo Pokemon. She said that her favourite game of the year, was a game called Among Us.
Oh yeah.
Have you played that, Tom?
No.
Okay, it's good. I played it on mobile, and basically it's like a really quick multiplayer game. We should play it, actually. It's quite a laugh. There'll be a group of you. I think it's 4 minimum. You'll go into like a spaceship, and one of you will randomly get an objective, and you have to kill all the other people without them finding out. So there'll be basically like a round of voting, and you have to vote for who you think the killer is. But if you get someone like on their own, you can kill them and then like run away and join the other group again. But everyone will find out someone's being killed. It's quite good. It's a bit cartoony, but it's like a really fun little quick game. I think it's on mobile and it's on Steam. It might actually be on consoles as well, But that's a pretty fun game. Worth checking out. So thanks, Jojo. Pokejebble, our good friend Pokejebble. He says that his favourite game of the year is Warzone.
Yeah,
Warzone.
that gets a massive shout because that's the first Call of Duty I've played in a long time that I actually enjoyed.
Well, this is it. This is it, and it's. I think Warzone brought a lot of people together this year as well.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, we had quite a few big sessions, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and it's only because I ran out of space I had to remove it.
Yeah, that's the only downside for me. It was just the sheer size of it, like 120 gig. So thanks for that, Jebel. Clan of Corvinus, the guy we've been chatting to recently, he says, without question, his game of the year is Last of Us 2.
Yeah, good shout.
I mean, I don't think we need to say anything else on that. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely incredible game. Groundbreaking. Speak English, Sam. Aqua Series 25 says he's been playing a lot of Pokemon Silver. Says that's his game of the year.
It's the game of every year, isn't it?
Pokemon Silver, yeah, good shout. Mitchell Purden says his game of the year was Animal Crossing on the Switch.
Yeah, I heard this was a good game, but I don't have a Switch.
I think it's one of those games you can literally just mong out to, just go on an island and relax and do nothing. Literally,
sounds
I think
good.
it's literally you own your own island, so you literally grow plants and crops and interact with other people and visit their island.
Sounds like Minecraft.
Do you know, it's quite similar, I think. I think it's quite similar. Less building, but more like, I don't know actually, I guess it is. It's pretty similar, I guess. I mean, I've not actually got it, but it looks decent. Very good reviews. I think it's helped a lot of people, again, as to like escape, if you know what I mean. It sounds silly, but sometimes you need that little bit of escape, and I think games like that, where they're really immersive, they can help a lot of people. Films that got mentioned, one was the new Borat.
Jesus.
Clan of Corvinus again said that his film of the year was the new Borat. But you know what? It's not bad. Have you watched it?
No.
It's not bad. It's not as funny as the first, because I think the first is hilarious. But it's very political and topical. It's not bad. So yeah, thanks to everyone that replied. Give us some feedback. But the games of the year, mix things up a little bit. Tom, you always put me to the test, mate. You always give me a little quiz. I thought it was only fair that I return the favour and quiz you a little. This time the quiz master gets quizzed.
What is the quiz about?
So it's one of the old favourite keyword countdowns, mate. So I'm going to give you a bunch of keywords, and you basically need to tell me what the film is. Now, I will need to know exactly, but if I get what you're trying to say, then I will give you it. I'll give you it.
So I've just got to say the film name, have I?
Just a film name, and I'm going to give you a list of 6 keywords that come from IMDb, and there are 8 films. There are 5 films, and each film's got 6 keywords.
And they're from across all the years.
They span. I'd say 1980s to now.
All right.
The first one. Are you ready, mate? Keyword countdown.
Yeah.
The first keyword is killer dog.
Hound of the Baskervilles.
Killer dog. No. Next keyword, underground.
Resident Evil, The Hive.
You fucker. How have you got that so early?
I just remember the dog being like skinned.
Oh, mate, well done. I'm impressed. I did not think you would get that straight away. I'm shocked. I hope the rest aren't that quick.
All right.
So I got Killer Dog, Underground, Evil Corporation, Quarantine, Zombie, and Red Holographic Girl. It was Resident Evil 1, mate. Well done. Next film. Young Love.
The Notebook.
No.
Twilight.
No. Prequel to cult film.
Are we talking about Star Wars, are we? Anakin and Padme? The Phantom Menace, is it? No, it'll be Clone Wars, right? Attack of the Clones.
Hell. How have you done this? I need to make these harder. Man. Holy shit.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Attack of the
I've
Clones.
got Young Love, prequel to cult film, Bounty Hunter, part of trilogy, Clones, and The Force. I can't believe you.
Alright, okay.
Right, fair enough, mate. I'm impressed. Right, hopefully this one fucks you up. Organised crime.
Organised crime. Gangster Squad.
No. Good guess. Next clue. Power.
Was it Gungrave, Millennium?
No.
Is it The Boys? Vault?
No.
Okay.
No. Next clue. Gangster.
The Godfather?
No, good guess though. Good guess. Next clue. Cocaine.
So is this like Narcos?
No.
Oh, okay.
Good guesses. You're in the right ballpark.
Cocaine.
I'll tell you that.
American Gangster?
No. Next clue. Cuban refugee.
I don't know. Have I seen this film?
I mean, you definitely know of it. You might have seen it. It's one you've definitely heard of. I'll give you the final clue. Grenade launcher.
Don't know. Is it Rambo or something?
No.
Don't know.
Scarface, mate.
Oh, I've never seen it. I've no idea. I don't even know what it's about.
You've never seen Scarface?
No, I've never seen that one.
Mate, it's brilliant. You gotta watch Scarface. Say hello to my little friend.
So that's the only line I know from that film. And that Al Pacino.
You need to watch it. Yeah, brilliant film. Brilliant film. Okay, alright. I'm glad you got one wrong. Good for me. Next one. Hopelessly outnumbered.
28 Days Later. World War Z.
No, some good guesses. I'll give you another clue. Military tactics.
Zulu.
You fucking dick.
Is it?
What the hell? How are you getting these so early?
Wow, that was good. Okay.
How are you getting these so early? Right. Hopelessly outnumbered. Military tactics. 1879. British Army. Tribe. Anglo-Zulu War. How the hell you got that from military tactics and hopelessly outnumbered? I have no idea.
Alright.
You're a machine.
Alright.
This could be the shortest quiz in the world, isn't it?
How many left?
I'm speechless. Well done, mate. Well done. The final film. Right. Psychopath.
Dark Knight?
You fuck off.
Are you kidding me?
What the hell? How have you done that straight away? From Psychopath. Are you kidding me right now? Are you spying on my phone or something?
No, of course not. That was good.
I can't believe that.
Oh, good.
I cannot believe that straight away.
I wish I watched Scarface now.
Jesus Christ. Well done. The other clues were Psychopath, Moral Dilemma, Disfigurement, Criminal Mastermind, Organised Crime, and Clown Masks. Well done, mate. You're the quiz master. What can I say? Cheers for listening. Bye, everyone. No, well done, mate. Fair play to you. You know your films.
Yeah, but I'm annoyed I didn't watch Scarface now. That'd have been a good quiz result.
How the hell you got bloody Zulu from military tactics? And the Dark Knight from Psychopath is just beyond me. So, kudos, mate.
It's that weird quote mind thing I've got, and it helps me remember films.
Yeah. I'm going to make these harder, aren't I? I'm going to make these much harder.
So Scarface and Parasite on my list.
Oh, they're both brilliant, mate. They're both brilliant in their own ways. I mean, Scarface is just a brilliant gangster film. Full of quotes. Literally, it's such a good film. It's literally about a scumbag who comes to America to start a new life, and he basically becomes like a drug tycoon. Basically, his story. I don't think it's a true story, but it's brilliant. Classic cinema. Classic. And Parasite is probably one of my favourite films of all time. It's brilliant.
Well, if there's two I could recommend to you then, so obviously you give me two there. If you watch The Irishman, and the other one you should watch is 13 Assassins.
13 Assassins?
Yeah.
No, I heard of that. Who's in that?
It's an Asian film. So you give me an Asian one, I'll give you an Asian one, so 13 Assassins. You watch it within the first 20 minutes, you'll be like, yeah, alright, I'm in. It's subtitles, obviously,
13.
but...
That don't bother me at all, mate. I think that's how you know it's a good film, because you start watching it and you forget that you're reading subtitles.
Yeah, you do.
Keeping up with the theme then, have you seen The Train to Busan?
Yeah.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that is good.
That's a brilliant zombie film because they get a bit boring sometimes, but that is just brilliant. Fair enough, mate. That's the end of Keyword Countdown. That's the final one of 2020, mate. Have to make it a bit harder next year. So thanks for listening to our 2020 special. Expect to see more from us next year, and we'll see you later.